Gender and spirituality in Africa. How did gender play a role in leadership? How did the female rulers in this module define those gender roles? They were legendary, courageous, and had spiritual connections. Nanny of the Maroons, according to people of the historical slave trade, was said to catch bullets with her bum, and the video iterated that she planted pumpkins and had squashes to eat the next day. In the Achebe book, King Nija fought off the Portuguese, who didn't honor their peace treaty, as stated in the same book. Ata Aje Le Janu of Igala land was said to be descended from half leopard, half man. Many women leaders wanted to be called kings because of the patriarchal culture in society that legitimizes their power through a male identity. Those women used gender to help them gain authority over their people. They were almost supernatural. How does gender view differ in this context than in previous modules? According to Achebe in 2020, in Africa, gender roles are fluid. You don't have to be born man to be male, or you don't have to have female parts to be a woman. Whereas in a patriarchal Christian society, you have to be either male or female only, and most males get the authority and credit or any achievements in society. Even their gods with 3,000 names were born female and male, which departs from Western Christianity. One example from Achebe is the rainbow snake of Benin, which includes a male red and a female blue area. So the traits of both women and men are important in their culture and spirituality. Another example is the he woman, a boy with a female body, attributed to King Na Dode Akabi, Ga of central Ghana. Their character has a duality of male female spirit physical, which would be seen negatively in the West. Cleopatra, Isabella I, Mary, Queen of Scots, and other queens had to work around men in their courts and in their lives, men who commanded respect and power, who fought them in decision making, and who commanded influence in court. Deeply ingrained stereotypes, they had to have a privileged position to lead men. Some used marriage, others avoided it altogether. Cleopatra became the sole ruler after partnering with Rome. To seal her authority, she used Egyptian culture and embodied the goddess Isis. Her knowledge of different languages helped her become more diplomatic. Isabella I of Castile ascended to the throne and signed a marriage treaty that kept her power over Castile intact. She projected an image of a virtuous woman and was educated. Mary, Queen of Scots, also fought valiantly for her faith and faced accusations of murder and an assassination plot. How does spirituality contribute to the leadership roles? Nanny and the Maroons maintained their spirituality and traditions to lead their people to freedom. In reading Nanny of the Maroons, she had an enslaved sister named Sikeshi and a free brother named Kojo. Kojo and Nanny led the Maroons to victory and signed a treaty and land rights with the British. She saw fellow enslaved people as brothers and sisters who needed freedom. The Akan were a matrifocal people. She led, fed, and practiced her faith, the Obeah. She used the physical and spiritual world to protect and strategize a victory for her people. Her spirituality guided her and her people's resistance to enslavement. In Africa, there are many spiritual roles: rain queens, spirit mediums, priestesses, diviner, mass spirits, healers, and prophetesses. For women and men, some of these roles involve using trances or possessions as messages from the dead or as oracles. These women can have their powers to heal or kill, predict the future, discover the cause of a problem, or curse an enemy. For centuries, there has been a special connection between the physical and spiritual worlds that leaders must understand and take advantage of, especially in politics. Economics is also affected because African women rule the marketplace. Like many other traditions, spirituality believes in empathy and interconnectedness with God and each other. Its leaders go beyond the aim of selfish power and gain more meaning by having morals to care for each other and the land they live on. Altruism, which is lacking in competition and greed, is present in spiritual connections. Achebe explains that there is no duality of the spiritual and physical world, and time is not linear, but cyclical. Their worldview, spirituality, and perspective differs from those of the West, making them unique leaders. Achebe believes that ancestors are reborn in periods of crisis and celebration. If ancestors are reborn with the wisdom of the ages, they have guides for making decisions. What is unique in this context compared to what we've seen in previous modules? Hatshepsut believed that she was a god by both blood and by rank. The readings by Achebe show us that women led the marketplace as a community of queens, not as gods. Nani also called on the gods for wisdom on how to emancipate her people, but she was not a god or an ultimate ruler. Elagabalus was an emperor who had complete power and control of Rome. Africans call on the spiritual world to guide and restore themselves from nature through nature. Cleopatra self ruled Egypt in the spirit of Isis, which would be different from her ancestors being born. Historically, African societies are more egalitarian, if not matrifocal. Wu Zetian was Buddhist, so she believed in reincarnation, but she was shrewd and used her police force to patrol dissenters to her rule. China is fiercely patriarchal. Isabella of Castile was a monarch who kept her power to herself and tried to extend her faith and power into the world. Elizabeth I was also a monarch who depended on her advisors, and before her time, the Magna Carta had already been signed. The English had certain rights that protected them from illegal imprisonment and through due process. African queens, chiefs, and priestesses held on to spiritual power to lead their people. Africans also had armies, trade, land, wealth, but their spirituality is dynamic and in their command. Do you think Western society can learn from these examples? If so, how? What surprised you from the readings and why? The West emphasizes individualized competition with each other and materialism. Who has the most is the winner, whether it be a country or a person. Everything is compartmentalized, even your own religion. Your identity is a series of descriptions by age, class, gender, nationality, and religious affiliation. According to Achebe, the African approach calls the spiritual world into the physical world, thus making them more interconnected, empathetic toward each other's plights, and more open to respecting nature and their surrounding that help them heal and feed them. There is collaboration with the spirits of the past and present. There is unity in specific goals, whose positive mission is for the whole group, not just themselves. Also means the protection of clean air and water, the biodiversity of plants and animals, the respects for the gifts that it brings them. Instead of linear time, their time is cyclical. Their time is dependent on events in their lives. Usually, we plan with determination to attain a goal in the future. For them, there is a season for everything, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to be born and a time to die, a pattern that repeats itself, leaving them to make good habits and choices in the present.